Well, when we started Pender, we were both just 2 years out of college, out of veterinary school. Dr. Johnson went to Ohio State and I went to Cornell. And we thought we could do it better. That's one of the reasons why we started Pender. And how we thought we could do it better is we thought, one, we could explain disease and what was going on with the animal much better than it was being explained in other practices. But we also planned on doing emergencies 24 hours a day. At that time, there were no emergency hospitals in the area. And you could try to find a veterinarian at midnight, but good luck. So we decided we would not refuse anyone. And so our days ended up being very long. We were very typically here 12 to 14 hours, and it wasn't unusual to come out twice a night to see emergencies. Now we give assistance to animals 24 hours a day. There's always a doctor in the hospital 365 days a year.
Well, my partner Don Powell and I met at a Northern Virginia Veterinary Medical Association meeting. And at the time, I was working in a small animal practice, doing large animals on my own on the side, and polo ponies, backyard ponies and that. We hit it off very well. We got to know one another. On his day off, he would ride with me, and we would dream and think about things we wanted to do in the future. Knew we both wanted to be entrepreneurs, and decided to form a partnership. So we searched for about a year and a half until we found this rundown Methodist church that was built in 1902. We would do the carpentry, we would do the painting, we hired carpenters as well. But we would work till 2 o'clock in the morning and have coveralls on and take the phone call and see an emergency, take off the coveralls and put on the white coat. And I remember that the first dog that Don saw in that hospital, the exam room table was 2 sawhorses and a sheet of plywood.
Well, if I was going to describe my partner, Dr. Mark Johnson, it would be that he's a veterinarian's veterinarian. He really enjoys veterinary medicine and always has. He enjoys not only taking care of the animal, but also taking care of the animal's owner. As I often say, with every animal that comes in the hospital, there's a leash attached to a person. And so he takes care of both, including even today that he makes house calls. He picks up elderly couples' animals to bring them to the hospital to be cared for. So he shows his love for veterinary medicine every day.
Don was an excellent veterinarian. He set a very strong example. I remember nights I would come into the hospital before there was emergency care in general, and he would be sitting there holding a pet's leg because we didn't have IV catheters. We'd have a needle taped into the vein, and that pet needed fluid therapy. And he would sit with that pet, keep the arm extended to be able to let the fluids flow. That's how dedicated he was.
Well, a couple of the things I really enjoy about Pender is that we have a family here. We have a group of people that have been with us a long, long time, which is unusual in today's world. I particularly enjoy the fact that Pender has now its 3rd and 4th generation of client. And what I mean by that is that I used to see a parent years ago with a bulldog or a boxer, and their child was 10 at the time, and then they became our client once they grew up, and now their children are now our clients, bring animals to us. So it's a real pleasure to see that we still have their trust, and we still have a long-term relationship with the entire family.
Pets are very appreciative of what you do. I remember a Doberman pinscher who was hit by a car, and it took about 8 weeks to heal this dog. She was missing a section of her bone. So I did a graft. And every day, Greta would hand you her leg. She seemed very appreciative. You knew, she knew you were fixing her.
So my advice for young veterinarians is really pay attention to the service that they give the client. Something we commonly see are diseased ears, especially in dogs. And the important thing is to always remember that this is your 5th diseased deer of the day, which isn't always that exciting. But for that client and for that animal, it's their 1st diseased deer of the day. So you need to give the same attention, the same care, the same directions as you would for the first one that you saw that morning. That is what really makes a difference to people. They want to know that you're involved with their animal, that you care about their animal, and it makes all the difference in the world as far as building a business and building a veterinary hospital.
Yesterday, Mrs. Goldston is here. She sees me. I haven't treated her pets forever and ever. She looks at me and says, "Did you ever envision this?" Because in the old church, going back to that, there were nights we would count 6 cars. Will we ever succeed? And she just went on and on about Dr. Vole and Dr. Denny and Dr. Finlayson and Dr. Clark and the others. She said, "My dog almost died 3 times. They've saved him 3 times." Dr. Vole even prayed with her as her dog went into the last surgery. That's caring and that's service.